My name is Graham Matthews, and as you know, I run Empowered STEM. So today, I want to come into the live stream, and I'm specifically talking to the UAE parents on this one. And I wanted to talk to you about why your teen doesn't need more tutoring. What they need is the right system. So this is for parents who are out in the UAE, in Dubai, or in Abu Dhabi, and they're joining us today. I do thank you for that. So here we go. If your teen is if they're gunning for an A or an A star, like they have an A or an A star in their mind, I'm going to tell you something that you may find a little bit surprising. And it's this: they don't need more tutoring. What they need is a proven system. Okay, so first off, disclaimer: as you probably heard, I've got legal in the background over there. He gives me the legal consultation, and he always says to me, Graham, you have to say this bit before you say what you're going to say, which is "in my opinion." So, in my opinion, I'm not, as you know, if you've been following me for a while, I'm not a big fan of private tutoring, and I'm certainly not a big fan of group tutoring, or as they're now calling it, the webinar model. In my opinion, I think it's a waste of time and it's a waste of your money. It's not going to get you the results that you want. But this is just my opinion. But I think that what you need, besides group tutoring or private tutoring, what you need is a proven system. What you need is a system that allows your teen to think, to revise, and to perform like a student that is a top 1% student, a student that is on their way to an Ivy League school, that are on their way to an Oxbridge school, they're on their way to Imperial. Okay. Now, like I said, we've been talking to a lot of parents in the UAE. We've been talking to a lot of families, a lot of doctors, engineers, business leaders out there, and they all say the same thing. Now, first off, I have to admit, parents, I am proud of you. And the reason why I am proud of you is that you're really looking for a solution to the challenge your teen has. You are. And what you're doing is that you're investing in your teen's education. So first off, I do want to commend you for doing that. Investing in your teen's education and making sure they have the best chance of getting the A or the A star in A-level maths and A-level science. But the problem is, and this is what the parents tell us who we're talking to, my team and I are talking to, is this. The problem is this, is that your teen is still stuck at a B. So even with the weekly private tutoring, they're still stuck at a B. And you come to us and you ask, why is that? And what can I do to help my teen out? Because you really, as a parent, you really want to see your teen be successful. Well, the issue is this. The problem is this, is that tutors focus on content. Tutors treat the symptoms. And the problem with working with a tutor or a group tutoring model that just focuses on content is that they're not giving your teen what they need. What your teen needs is that they need strategy. They need structure. They need exam technique. They need mindset. And these are 4 elements that you don't get from private tuition and you don't get from group tutoring. Now, parents, I have to give you a caveat. If you've ever really investigated the group tutoring model, which is really popular on the internet now, they're calling it the webinar model. What they're running is a webinar with up to 98 students in it. Not the best use of your teen's time, not the best use of my money, of your money, in my opinion. So I think that what you need is that you need a strategy, a proven strategy of success that handles these 4 topics I just mentioned: strategy, structure, exam technique, and mindset. And the reason I think this is because Students who have a structured strategy, they're following a plan like the one I'm going to talk about. This is the difference between a student who is in private tutoring, that unfortunately stuck in the group tutoring model, and they're just struggling with A-level maths and A-level science. They're just average. To a student who has become the type of student who has transformed themselves into the type of student who will get the A and the A star. They will be successful at university. And these are the type of students that have the confidence to apply to and get in to Oxbridge universities, to Imperial, or over in the US, the Division I schools, the Ivy League schools. So how exactly does this strategy unfold? Well, the very first thing that you need is you need something called, which we call at Empowered STEM, precision diagnosis. Now, precision diagnosis is this. It's where your teen, we know where your teen is, what they know and what they don't know. And so we can help them out. So let me explain the difference then. What it isn't is just going over the syllabus. Going over the syllabus is what the private tutors do. It's what the group tutors do. You know, those running the webinars. They just go over the syllabus. Your team doesn't need to go over the syllabus and relearn the content, relearn what they know, and maybe fill in a little bit of what they don't know. No, they don't need that, parents. What they need is they need precision diagnosis, because precision diagnosis is this. It allows them to know what they know and know what they don't know and where they're going wrong in real time. Now, this is the important bit, in real time, not weeks after they've taken the test or the exam. They finally get the paper back and the teacher gets around to marking it. Not sitting in the group tutoring sessions with 97 other students, hoping to get some generic feedback. No, what they need is that they need precision diagnosis, which to us at Empowered STEM means this. What they need is that they need a series of mock exams every 2 weeks, and then they get the mock exam back with detailed feedback. Now, we call it detailed dual coding feedback, parents, because we use the 6 principles of neuroscience when we teach our students enrolled in our courses. But the reason for this is that then your teen is going to know exactly what they know and exactly what they don't know, and they'll have enough time to fix it, to correct their mistakes, to fill in the knowledge gaps. Because those students who get the A and the A star, they know the content, they know the exam technique, they have a solid mindset. It's really important that nothing falls through the cracks, because we know from experience that small gaps in your teen's knowledge and understanding and exam technique, small gaps become big problems under pressure, as in when they walk into the exam hall to take their tests and their exams at the end of year 12 or the end of year 13. What they need, besides precision diagnosis, is that they need a structured system, not just scattered lessons and sessions throughout the week, not just when the private tutor comes around once a week and asks your teen, what are you stuck on? What are we working on tonight? How can I help? I mean, does that really, parents, does that really sound like a good idea to you? They come around, they say, well, what are you working on tonight? What are you stuck on? How can I help? They're expecting your teen to guide them. Well, let's be blunt about it, parents. If your teen knew what the problem was, they could fix it. Why would they need a private tutor? Or maybe they're stuck. Maybe they're trapped in one of these group tutoring models. with the 97 other students. Wondering, by the way, this is a question that we get all the time. The top question that we get from students who come in from the group tutoring model over to us, the very first question they say is, do you know why I couldn't see the other students in the group tutoring that I was doing? We said, what do you mean? He said, well, you just show up and it's like you see the tutor down on the screen teaching, yeah? You don't see anybody else. It's really odd. And then, for some unknown reason, you can't unmic. You can't ask a question. Oh, well, what are you supposed to do? Well, apparently you're supposed to type something into the chat. Really? All those A-level chemistry formulas and symbols? I mean, parents, I didn't graduate from the Mavis Beacon School of Typing. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, how on earth are you supposed to type a question into the chat, all those symbols and letters and everything else, and get feedback in real time? Of course you're not. And so look, the random sessions that the private tutor gives your teen, the group tutoring model where your teen doesn't get the detailed feedback. I mean, keep in mind, if the tutor running it, air quote, has 97 of the students in the room, how are they supposed to give detailed feedback? They're not. They give generic, generalized feedback, hoping that part of it sticks with your teen. Your teen deserves better than that, parents. They really do. Now, at Empowered STEM, we don't do random tutoring calls. We don't. We don't do the group model either. As you may have picked up, I'm not a big proponent of the group tutoring system model. And the reason for that is quite simple. And again, Legal's raising his eyebrow, because in my opinion, it doesn't work. And I've got the backing of all the students that we've taught at Empowered STEM that give me the answer to the question, does group tutoring work? No, it doesn't. Why? Well, it's doomed to fail from the outset. But that's a different live stream. Look, where your teen needs a clear system, a clear pathway to success, a proven strategy, which is bulletproof, military grade, battle tested by parents and students over and over again, year after year. What they need is a more immersive learning experience. What they need is pre-recorded videos that they can watch before they attend the live lessons. They need live lessons every week. And live lessons, by the way, parents, let me clarify something for you, with very, very small class sizes. Now, at Empowered STEM, the maximum number of students in our class at any time in our courses is 6. It's 6, parents. This is one of the major differences between what we do, the success plan, and what group tutoring does. We don't have 97 students in our class. We have 6. Your teen can unmic. They can see the other students in the course with them, and they can actually interact with the tutor running the lesson, teaching it in real time. This is the difference. We also stack on a value pack. We give your teen weekly homework. And by the way, when I say weekly homework, parents, what I don't mean is what they do in the group tutoring model, which is they find questions on the internet. Your teen can find also from one of these websites that stores all the questions, and then they quickly give that to the teen to do. And I guess you mark it in class, because the tutor running it is not going to mark 97 homework sets every week. And your teen is not going to get detailed feedback. They're not going to get the dual coded feedback that they need. No, it's going to be some generic, okay, how many questions did he get right? Anybody have an answer? A question? Type it into the chat. No, with us, small class sizes, questions that are curated by our course tutors that you won't find anywhere else on the internet because they're ours. Detailed feedback, not only annotated on the paper itself, but also video feedback. Because we have the time, we take the care with our students and our courses in order to make sure that they get the detailed feedback so that they can learn from their mistakes. They know what they know what they don't know, and then they can move forward. Now, what we do is once every 2 weeks, your teen gets a mock exam. Why? Well, simple. Your teen needs to know what it feels like to take a test under real exam conditions that's cumulative, that builds up over time. So they get used to seeing the synoptic links between the questions. They get used to building everything up, linking all the concepts together. And of course, they get the detailed dual-coded feedback with us, parents. But we also stack on study clinics, exam prep sessions, and master classes, so that if your teen has a question, they can drop into one of our many study clinics. Not just one. It's what they do in the group tutoring model. You have one office hour a week. No. We have numerous study clinics that your teen can drop into, so they can experience the teaching style of different tutors. And exam prep sessions, they can learn how to read the mark scheme once and for all, how to avoid the examiner pitfalls and traps, how to read examiner reports. And master classes, let's do a deep dive into a topic which is a high yield topic, one that moves you letter grades. For example, pH calculations, acids and bases, buffers, right? Now, again, parents, what I'm saying is this, is that do you notice the quality of what we're offering here as compared to the generic tutoring that you get with the private tutors, or unfortunately your teen is stuck in one, the group tutoring model? And we also work on mindset. Yes, we work on performance psychology with your team, because what we know is this, is that a structured, efficient, focused strategy is what's going to move the grade for your team. Let me say it again. A structured, as in it's thought out in advance, it's planned, it's been tested previously, refined, efficient. Your teen doesn't have time to waste. They don't want to be sitting there thinking, well, I've got to wait for someone else to get the question because I know how to do this bit. Or how exactly do I put a question into the chat? Focused on what they don't know. What's the point of reviewing what they know? What's the point of learning what they know if they already know it? Exactly. Strategy that moves the grade forward. And this is what I'm talking about, parents. We have proof that our plan moves students' grades forward. Letter grades within a term on a consistent basis. It isn't just a one-off with us. This is a consistent thing that we do every term with all of our students. Now, talk to parent, and this is the quote that they said. They said, you know, this is the first time I felt like my teen was on track. Doesn't that feel good? First time they felt that their teen was on track. Because your teen is undertaking the most difficult academic challenge of their lives. They're trying to, really seriously get the A and the A star. They want to go to Oxbridge, Imperial, Ivy League schools. And they deserve to be on track. Now, what we do that no one else does, as far as I know, no one else does this, is that we do mindset coaching. say, well, Graham, what on earth is mindset coaching? Look, mindset coaching is performance psychology. Because even if your team knows the content, if your team doubts their ability, even a very small amount, they'll underperform on the day of the exam. And so we delve deeply into beliefs, getting rid of limiting beliefs, helping them build out a belief in themselves, a confidence in themselves that they can do it. Because when your team believes that they can do it, they've got the confidence that they can do it because they can see that their grade is improving by following the plan, then it becomes a more series of likelies, doesn't it? So what we teach them is what we call the medical mindset. The medical mindset, we teach them confidence, we teach them focus, we teach them resilience. And we have academic coaches on the team that do this. Now, the reason why we focus on medical mindset, and they can't do this in group tutoring, by the way. I mean, you got so many teens trapped in a webinar. How on earth are you supposed to individually work with them? 97, 98 students trapped in a webinar about mindset. You can't. Now, the reason why we do this is because we know it's not what you know, it's how you perform under pressure. Your team could know the content inside and out, backwards and forwards, around and around in a circle. Guess what? On the day of the exam, if they walk into the sports hall and they collapse like a house of cards, like mentally collapse like a house of cards, they have exam nerves. They're not going to perform, are they? They're not going to get the A or the A star. They'll start to doubt themselves. They'll start to double guess themselves. Keep on thinking about it. Running out of time. Exactly. So this is why we focus on the medical mindset, the performance psychology, because there is an art to it. Once your team understands what it is, they build up this winning mindset, this mindset with unstoppable confidence, unshakable. Then off they go to the higher and higher grades. They start climbing the grade boundaries and they stay at the top. Because when you think about it, it's like this. If I said to you, okay, you know what? We're going to get into shape. And you go, well, fantastic, Graham. I'm going to get into shape and go down the gym and I'll hire a personal trainer. I got some event coming up. Maybe it's a wedding. Maybe I'm going away with my husband, my wife, my partner, whatever. And you went down to the gym and you hired a personal trainer. And all he did is just sit there and watch you exercise. How confident would you feel that the plan was going to work? If you showed up and he said, right, change out. Okay, off you go. Yeah, I'll just watch from the sidelines. Make sure you don't injure yourself. Really? Would you really pay for that? This is what it's like in group tutoring, by the way. This is what it's like with the private tutoring. You got some tutor down the front watching your team. You know, they teach a little bit, then they watch the team do some questions. Really? Or would you like it if when you went down and hired a private trainer, because you had this goal in mind to maybe you're going away on a nice holiday, a nice beach holiday, the trainer shows up and they've got a complete fitness plan. They thought about it. They've got nutrition advice. They've got a progress tracker. They've got accountability built into the program. I don't know about you parents, but I know which one I'd be going for. I wouldn't be going for the one is just, well, we'll just watch you exercise. No, I'd be going to the one that had thought about and built so much into the plan that it's a real series of likelies I'm going to be successful. Because The reason why I mentioned the analogy, the private trainer, is this. The private trainer, to me, it's like working with a private tutor or somebody who's running the group tutoring model. Your teen doesn't need a tutor. What they need is a system. And this is the difference. They need a system that works. So we've worked with a lot of students. We worked with over 500 students, parents. Students who were stuck at a C or a B. No matter what they tried private tutoring. They got caught in the group tutoring trap. They've been overwhelmed by the rigors of the British A-level system. They really want to break through an A-star barrier. They really want to show you what they can do. These are the type of students that we work with. And what we do is we work with what we call the PATH method. Now, the PATH method, let me go through the PATH method. The first one is precision diagnosis. It's quite simple. When your teen enrolls in one of our courses, the very first thing we do is that they get a test. They're given a diagnostic test, so we know what they know and we know what they don't know. And then we can put a plan together. Then they've got conceptual clarity. The second part is conceptual clarity. Conceptual clarity is where we teach the content, the course content, so well, your teen has a really solid, firm understanding of the course content. There isn't a question that they can't do because they have strategies in place. They know how to do it. The third one is strategic revision. Now, this is a big one because look, the issue is this, is a lot of students when they come to us, they're coming in for the GCSE, the GCSE to year 12 jump. And a lot of them really don't know how to study. They don't. Why? Because nobody taught them. It's not their fault. They've been let down by the school system. They don't know how to study. They don't know how to revise efficiently, effectively. And so what they're doing is that they're using techniques of the past to solve challenges of the future. It's not going to work out. So what we do is we teach them how to study. We teach them how to revise. Now, strategic revision to us at Empowered STEM is not only learning how to revise effectively, it's also we use what's known as the 6 pillars of neuroscience as applied to learning. So we're really scientific. We're really specific about how we teach it. We have a plan that's based in science to help your teen be successful and study efficiently. And the last thing is medical mindset. Now, to us, medical mindset is a performance psychology, is what it is. It's about learning how to perform under pressure, the pressure that they will see in the exam hall. Now, students who enroll in our course, parents, they climb the top grade boundaries rather quickly, and they stay there. This is the important bit. And they stay there. So, as a parent, what I need you to do is have a think. Have a think with me. If you're paying for private tutors, if you're stuck in the group tutoring trap, kind of like a fly in the room, like all the windows and doors are shut, you want to get out, but you can't. If you're not seeing results, your teen is not moving up to and sitting at an A or an A star, it's not your fault. It really isn't, parents. It's not your fault. The problem is not your teen. The problem is that the system that they're using at school is not helping them out, and they don't have a system to help them get to the A or the A star. Now, this is the reason why I built Empowered STEM. People always ask me this question: Graham, why did you build Empowered STEM? Simple, to level the playing field. Because I believe that with expert guidance, with structured support, and with the medical mindset, that your teen can move to an A or an A star grade and stay there for the duration of year 12 and year 13. So, parents, as always, I say this: if what I'm saying to you makes sense, if it resonates with you, and you'd like to learn more about what we do at Empowered STEM to help your teen and teens like yours achieve the A and the A star, it's really simple to do it. All you got to do is click on the link in the description, and you can learn more about our A-level courses, or just send us a message. And a member of my team will get back to you, and you can have a non-committal conversation of all of your questions answered. Everybody take care, and I'll see you on the next one.